Good day, everyone. Thank you for joining us. My name is Marsh, your moderator. And on behalf of our presenter, logi-Cloud.com, I would like to welcome you all to today's webinar entitled A New Option for SME to Digitalize Their Warehouse. This is the first episode of our webinar series. This webinar is designed to provide you insights regarding what a fully digitalized warehouse should be like, traditional WMS, and the hurdles for SME. How does logi-Cloud do it? What retail companies will gain from a digitalized warehouse? And what logistics companies will gain from a digitalized warehouse? Now, before we begin and introduce our speaker, I would like to go over some housekeeping rules. All participants will be muted and your cameras are being turned off throughout the webinar so the speaker can present without interruption and, of course, for your privacy. If your connection stops, just log off and log back in, and you'll be in the webinar room once again. Anytime you have any questions during the presentation, you may submit via the Q&A function located on the bottom part of your screen. The session will be recorded and sent to registered attendees afterwards. Leave your contact info for a free consultation and stick around for an exclusive offer at the end. And now, it's my pleasure to introduce to you our speaker, Arthur Chen. For the last 20 years, Arthur Chen has focused on IT solutions integrating technology to supply chain management and operations. He is constantly fascinated about how things and life function, as well as how each and every tiny action leads to the bigger picture. His mission is to help small and medium-sized businesses and micro-enterprises become professionals in warehouse and logistics operations. So, Arthur, over to you.
Thank you, Marsh. Hi, everyone. This is Arthur Chen from Hong Kong. I'm the head of business development of logi-Cloud.com. Thank you very much for spending the time with us this afternoon, and it's our pleasure to introduce logi-Cloud to all of you. Just like I mentioned, there will be a series of webinars from higher level to detailed hands-on level about in and out in logi-Cloud. So this is the first one. Okay, so first of all, we would like to know about the friends here, about your background. So we have a small polling here to let us know about your background. So whether it's you are from retail, you are from logistics companies, or you are doing e-commerce business, or you are a solution provider, or anything else, just select a choice to let us know. Because unfortunately we can't meet face to face because the COVID situation, but let's make it a little bit close for each other. Feel free to make your choice so we know about your background, and then we can explain a little bit more particular to your background. Okay, so how's the result? Okay, so we have friends from logistics companies, and also most of them from retail distribution segment, and we have 3 friends from solution providers. Okay, just 16 people have made the vote. It's nice. So yeah, this will be our focus, how logi-Cloud helps logistics companies and also retail companies. Okay, let's start. Let's start with some surveys about some data we find from the research online. So here's a first survey which is conducted by Honeywell, the well-known brand in the market, in year 2019, about what's the warehouse challenges nowadays. So as you can see, because the e-commerce mostly, the warehouse now is facing a challenge that need to handle the more orders, but need to be faster and the cost must be lowered. And the error tolerance is becoming even lower now. But at the same time, you One of the other challenges is the labor. It's hard to keep people to work in this industry, and there should be some ways need to address that. So that becomes a challenge. And besides that, is reducing the costs and also optimizing the technology usage. This is what market say we're facing the challenge from the change of the economy. Here you are. Here's another survey conducted by the US research in just this year for the major issue in warehouse. When we facing a challenge, but on the other hand, we have issues in the warehouse. So I'm not going through it one by one, but take the first, the top 5 one to talk about. So besides the technology, one significant thing is e-commerce. The surge of e-commerce has made a big change to the warehouse. So people are struggling in the warehouse to how to retain the qualified people to work there, and also the new changes like the material handling equipment need to change because you are handling more or more B2C orders instead of traditionally we handle B2B orders. So we have challenges from the market because the market changed, and we still have an issue to manage in the warehouse internally. So this comes to our needs, why we need to digitalize the warehouse. That will be the answer to answer all these technical problems. Okay, so let's assume the world is not perfect, so we cannot have all these objectives achieved. What do you think? Which 3 of them is the top on the objectives when you think about the warehouse digitalization? So here's the other polling. We would like to know what do you think. Let's spend like 20 seconds something on that to share your opinions. Among the 6 objectives, this is the usual objectives. Improve the productivity, efficiency, that's obviously one popular choice. Make the inventory data visible, accessible to other parties. This is talking about the communication with other parties. And the accuracy, yeah, that's important for warehouse. And connect sales channel to warehouse. This could be new because nowadays we have usually more than one sales channels. We have online channels, we have offline channels. And also one practical thing is when there are HR change or loss in the warehouse, will that make trouble for the warehouse? How to minimize that? That could be one practical objective as well. And also for the warehouse, it's operation. So how to standardize the operation flow to support the growth will be another big challenge. So what do you think? Which 3 of them is the top on your list? I'm feeling excited for it. So still, yeah, typically productivity and efficiency is the highest priority. And accuracy and speed. Yes, that's the foundation for warehousing. You have to work faster and be accurate. And after that is the inventory warehouse visibility. Yes, that's a key point. The digitalization is actually means to make everything digitalized so that other people can see from outside the warehouse to know what is happening. And after that, standardized operation. Yes, that's critical too. Okay, thank you very much for the opinions. That's match with what we know and what we are thinking of. Go to the next to start with. So what's efficient and digitalized warehouse be like? So some people will say, okay, I got ERP. I'm currently using some functions from ERP or POS. That's digitalization, right? Yes, that's just digitalize the data itself. But when we talk about warehouse digitalization, it means more than that. First of all, one key element in the digitalization is data automation. It means if you can get data, capture the data, and automatically instead of by data entry. In the most popular ways, we use barcode scanning. That's the basic method. Of course, some company will use Alpha ID, some advanced technology, but that's out of SME scope, I would say that. And at the same time, the data automation also means another direction. When you have instruction or directions, could that data be automatically pushed to your front-end operators? That's another key point of digitalization. And the next is the intelligent automation. In warehouses, we have best practice, like first in, first out, first expect, first out, this kind of strategy. We have SOP to follow. Once the decision is made, you have to ensure the operation team will follow that. So this intelligence could be automated as well. And this is another key element in warehouse digitalization. So once you have these two, you have data, you have efficient operations, you have data in the database. Then the next will be how you can get the data out from the database. Is the way efficiency, is the method or the tools you are using convenience for operation or for daily work. And after all this, in nowadays, we have to share the data with others, whether the business partners or the upstream partners or downstream end users. We have to either to use the online portal to share the information, or we have to integrate with some platforms so that data will be shared. That will be another critical part in warehouse digitalization. And lastly, once you have a warehouse working this way in a most digitalized way, what it means to business. So another point is when your business change, can your warehouse or operation follow that and be supportive and change rapidly and along that? That will be the fifth element in warehouse digitalization. And all these five is the factors you need to think about how to digitalize warehouse, or this is the five objectives or five measurements whether your warehouse is digitalized enough or not. So warehouse digitalized from what we have explained so far is quite obvious, right? I bet most people knowing that. But still, it's not a rocket science, but still, why we have seen a lot of warehouse are still using Excel? Why don't they just digitalize? From our over 10 years experience, here's some few conclusions. It's the hurdles. So to digitalize a warehouse, most likely you need typically you need a WMS, warehouse management system. But from the right to left, the first thing is you need investment. The investment in traditional WMS could be as high as $50,000 to $100,000, and that's not include the hardware and IT equipment itself. So that's the first hurdles. And after that, the traditional WMS implementation project could be complicated and have a long lead time. In general, it's nearly like an industrial norm. A WMS implementation could take like 6 to 9 months long. That means you won't see the software working in your warehouse until just 6 or 9 months later. And not mention that there will be a stabilizing period until your operation can adapt to the software. And then still it's software, there will be running costs to keep it running. This is talking about the data, the server backup, all the security measures, all these things. And it's a need cost. So there will be maintenance costs, or in other terms, cost of ownership. If you own the software, you still have additional costs on that. And in the whole things, you need to invest Besides money, you need to invest expensive resources as well, including the IT people, including operation people, to make the software work for your operation. So these are all the things you need in traditional way for a warehouse to be digitalized. It's not friendly for SME, right? To overcome all this, so let's think it this way. We want digitalized warehouse because we want business result. So the digitalized is not the objective. It's just one of the methods to do that. But before you can start working on this, you have to overcome all this software stuff, including the software itself, functions, how to sustain those, that, and if you have sufficient knowledge, resources, expertise to do that. All these things are the hurdles before you can put all your effort and time and budget on the real things. So all this is what we have seen in the market in so many years. But that's why SME can't be digitalized, because you need to be rich, you need patience, you need to wait for a long time, and you need to be resourceful. And this is not a game for SME. So this is why we have logi-Cloud. The logi-Cloud is positioned as a new option to help SME to bypass all these hurdles but transform and digitalize their warehouse operations easily and quicker. So basically, logi-Cloud is a cloud software by name. It's a SaaS model. It means you just need to pay by monthly fee, and it includes everything. It's pay as you go and pay as you need. All the functions are already there, so you don't need to wait. You just out box, you can start to use it. And there's no burden from all the IT stuff, all the backup, database, window license, firewall, load balancer, backup, all these things are gone. You don't need to worry about this, just start to use. And the beautiful thing is there's no cost of ownership. It's 100% OPEX. And nice things, in logi-Cloud, the software comes with the SOP standards within it. That means since the day one you use it, the operation teams can have an SOP to follow. And the SOP could be configured by yourself as well to match your needs. Once you configure it, the operation team will follow that as daily work. So it could be ensured what the result will be. Another nice thing is for the SaaS software is we keep enhancing the software and keep release the new features in the cloud. That means the software you are using will be error-free, but with a lot of new features and modules to match the new practices of the new business model in the market to keep you and your operation up to the day. So, just like mentioned, logi-Cloud can help you to get rid of all those hurdles so that you can start look at how the operation could be professional and cost effective just in 5 days. And then you can justify it by the business result in few days already. logi-Cloud will take care of all the software functions, security, accessibility, and knowledge expert. All these things will be taken care already in logi-Cloud, so that you can focus on what you need and focus on your real purpose just in 5 days. So you may wonder what is logi-Cloud about. Let's look into details. So first of all, logi-Cloud is designed for certain scale. If to make it more easier to understand, we can reference to these two figures. This is how usually we measure the scale of the operation, right? The warehouse sizes, 1,000 to 40 square feet, or the number of workers. So from 2 to 20. This 2 is the typical scales that logi-Cloud is designed for. So based on our over 10 years experience in warehouse management system, we keep the essential things in logi-Cloud, but we simplify the other things. We simplify everything which could be simplified. So the software itself and also the whole solution is not over-engineered, it's not complicated, it's a match to the price. And but still we keep the essentials to ensure the productivity, accuracy, and to ensure the professional result. So logi-Cloud is built for FMCG products. If your warehouse is working with FMCG products, or I would say anything that you can buy in supermarkets, shopping mall, or online, then you can use logi-Cloud immediately, because logi-Cloud is built for this, for warehouse hosting all these products. And logi-Cloud is also designed ready for different logistics models, where you are doing the retail store replenishment, or handling omnichannel fulfillment, a wholesale consignment, or you want it to manage the regional distributions, offshore e-commerce fulfillment centers, or multiple warehouses across the regions, whether operated by internal or operated by outsourced partners. All these are the logistic models logi-Cloud can support out of box and immediately. And logi-Cloud comes with an Android app. That's one of the two critical user interface in logi-Cloud. With this Android app, it's designed for operation team to use. So mostly you will install it to some industrial smartphone. It's not just like the smartphone in our pocket. It's an industrial smartphone. It's still Android, but it has a scanning capability, have a higher battery capacity, and more protections. logi-Cloud support most common available models and brands in the market. So for the operation team, they will use this device go along with them to do all the physical handlings. They will use this to scan, to verify and update what they are doing. And once it's passed the validation, everything will be updated immediately. And all the procedures will be showed up, and the guidance will be showed up in the screen, so they can see what's doing next. And all the rules are guarded in the software itself, so that they won't be able to make any mistake after that. So at the end of the day, the operation team will be relieved from making errors or worry if they have missed anything. There's no more data entry for them. They just done the physical work, verified by barcode scanning, and that barcode scanning will update everything immediately. And there's less chance for them to make a mistake. So there will be no worry. They can just finish the work and go home right away without spending time on the data entry. Because it's a real-time updated software, that means everything will be updated by real time. So there's no data upload or no data download. So imagine your warehouse working this way. Everybody have an instruction to follow. They will see what each other is doing. That means the team can work in real time. It means double or triple the productivity actually. Multiple people can work together to pick a batch of different orders, or to receiving one big incoming orders by multiple peoples. The system will ensure there's no mistake or no overlapping. As you can see from the screen, there will be instructions. The worker just follow the instruction, do the scanning, press the enter, all the data will be updated. There's no data update. And another nice thing is this is what we have simplified. Compared to traditional WMS, you don't need the operation team to spend a few days on learning the software and then use that knowledge in the rest of 3 years. We keep the upfront learning as minimum as possible, because when they start to use, there will always be an online knowledge portal to support them. They can call the support customer service team to ask how to do something. And another thing is that we put some of the education or training in the system. From the screen, as you can see, here it is telling the operator why they see this message. So they are learned at work from day by day. So this is a good way for the warehouse operation, because the people will change, right? When you have new people come to your warehouses, imagine that, especially for the supervisor, how long you need to put the new employee to work on critical things, say to start the picking work. If without a system, if you are using Excel or paper to manage a warehouse, probably you will need at least 1 week before you can ensure the newcomer can work properly without making mistakes, right? But with logi-Cloud, because the logi-Cloud will stop error right away, the mobile computers will provide the instructions to the workers. That means the newcomers just need to learn the basic things, and then he can start work immediately. There's very low chance for him or her to make a mistake. They don't need to have a complicated briefing. They can start work immediately, see the instruction, and follow the procedures. So this is why logi-Cloud can help you to save some of the HR costs, especially when they are onboarding. You can put the new workers to work within the first hour. Similarly, nowadays we know that most warehouses use helpers, part-time helpers, but those part-time helpers will not be skillful as your full-time employees. Imagine if you have these tools, these apps for them to work, they can still work on critical tasks as the full-time workers, because there will be instructions. They don't need to understand fully what is happening. Just follow instruction and scan what they pick, scan at the portal, scan at the bin locations to make sure they are doing right. Then everything is done. So this is the way logi-Cloud works and how logi-Cloud can benefit the operation team immediately. And it's also beneficial other teams. Imagine you have business developers in the company, like sales or business development team members. logi-Cloud is actually providing a very flexible functionalities for them. And logi-Cloud could be used by WMS alone, or when you have e-commerce business, you can connect logi-Cloud immediately to different e-shop platforms to get order automatically. You can book the courier automatically. So this is supporting the business developers more options from the warehouse. This means you can have a big range of variants in business models. And also when times come to partner requesting to have integrations, then you can use the API in logi-Cloud to enable that. So think about if your business developers has all this support in the day one, so they can think of more different models. They can catch more business opportunities. At the same time, when the warehouse operation is facilitated with a decent WMS like logi-Cloud, the warehouse will be more productive but more accurate. For the business developers, what's the benefit there is there should not be customer complaints anymore, because the dispatching or order delivery errors will be kept to nearly zero. So the customer will be happy. They will receive the orders accurately and timely. And for the business developer, because the inventory data will be more accurate and reliable now. If you remember, as I mentioned, the operator will not need to do the data entry. They just do the physical handlings, and by the barcode scanning, everything will be updated. So the information, the inventory data, the order status for the business developers will be very reliable. So that means that the business developers now could be more confident to make the business commitment to the customers or to different models. And also there's another stakeholder in the company for warehouse, right? Besides warehouse operation team, you will have always have back offices, and they need to know what is happening in the warehouse, what's the inventory about, what's the status about, or sometimes they need to check what has happened the last week or to the order which we sent the customers 1 month ago, right? So without the systems, probably you will need to call up the warehouse and asking this, asking that, and wait like a half an hour or 1 hour for the answers before you can answer to the customers or to management. But with logi-Cloud have the second software applications. It supports most of browsers. There's no installation need. You just open the browser, whether on your laptop or desktop, no matter where you are, whether you are in the warehouse or you are in the back office or you are in other city. Just go to internet, open the browser, and log in to your environment. You will immediately see what's the inventory about, down to expiry date or serial number detail, or you will know what's happening to the order at the current moment, just like you are there. And all the data could be easily searched and filtered in the web application, and you can export them to Excel file just by one click. So you will find the efficiency and convenience from there, so that you can work on your own. You can get data immediately. And all the data, remember, it's a real-time update. That means when the warehouse receiving one pieces of items, you will see the inventory just in a second. Just you will know who is doing what, and which order is being handling, what's the status at this moment, whether it's in the middle way of picking, or it has been packed and waiting for the courier or forwarder to collect, just like you were in the warehouse. And also the inventory data, if you need, when the back office people need to drill into details, you still have the software to use. You can look at the detail, what's the expiry date, what's the batch number, what's the serial number of each inventory pieces, what's happened to the order, that's orders, what happened to these orders, what's has been done last week, what's happened to the customers' inventory. So imagine if your back office has all these data for them, very easily to access, very convenient to search or to export, they will work more efficiently. There will be less and less calls or email to warehouse to ask what's this or how about that. And one last important thing is the data is reliable. It's not by somebody input from the screen on the keyboard. It comes from the physical operation, physical actions. So that will be the most reliable data. And also there's other stakeholder in the company for logi-Cloud, which will be the IT specialists. Because logi-Cloud comes with the monthly subscription fee, already include the customer support and daily support already. So that means your IT specialists could be get free from the daily tedious calls and questions from the operation team asking for this, why this, why that, or you don't need to spend time to understand what is happening in the warehouse. That's not the IT works, right? That's operation works. You can leave that for the support from logi-Cloud, and you can back to the real IT works. And when the company needs or the operation needs to implement a new warehouse, probably you need to deploy to help to deploy all the IT things, so software to the new warehouse. With logi-Cloud, that will be super easy and quick. Because it's internet software, you just need to make sure the new warehouses, no matter which location it is, just make sure there's a wireless and internet, and that's it. Because everything is already in logi-Cloud, we have even simplified the procedures for to make it as simple as a warehouse supervisor can manage. Here's the example. When you have a new device you want to add to include the logi-Cloud and for your warehouse, just two steps. Download the APK to the Android smartphone and scan the registration QR code, and that's it. You can log into it to start the operation immediately. So you can see this is some easy job, which probably the warehouse supervisor can do it instead of asking the IT specialist to do that. And lastly, for IT people, IT team in the company, one painful places is when you need to integrate your internal software with external software. In the typical world, probably you need to talk to two parties because there is two systems. You need to work in between there. You need to work as the integration specifications. You need to understand the business flow and manage the integration testing and all the problem solving until the two systems are fully integrated. And at the same time, you have deadline to meet. So that's quite painful for IT specialists, right? But with logi-Cloud, we have a pre-built connectors. It could be set up in 2 minutes by any layman users. You can use the connector to connect to marketplaces, connect to e-shops, connect to couriers right away. And also we have an open API available for more serious platform integrations. You can use that to integrate with your favorable supply chain platforms or your internal ERP or internal accounting software very easily. Because the open API is ready-made, is available there. That means in this kind of serious integrations, half of the time and cost could be cut because logi-Cloud is ready for that. You just need to focus on your ERP side or accounting software side, and that's it. So after all this, for decision maker, is logi-Cloud worth to try? So think it this way, logi-Cloud is guaranteed to up and run in 5 days. Here's the whole onboarding process. Your dedicated environment database could be get ready in 2 hours. And after that, it will be about 4 days of training and knowledge transfer to your warehouse supervisors by a dedicated onboarding specialist, by step-by-step guidance. And at the same time, the supervisors have a knowledge portal to check what and how. There are Q&A in the communities. Even sometimes our specialists could have some advisory how to prepare the warehouse site. And also, you can put your own data in your own environment with the assistance from the specialists, so that after 4 days, all the data is there, and you know how to configure logi-Cloud for your future needs. And lastly, just import your inventory to logi-Cloud by Excel file or use logi-Cloud to do a physical storage. Then you are fully ready on the 6th day to start the digitalized operation, real-time and paperless. So think about this, if for the management decision maker, if having a new system could be as short as 5 days and it's a pay by month, that means you can use it to catch up business opportunities, right? And also, even you want to have some ventures or some water testing on some new business models, and your warehouse could have tools to catch up with that. logi-Cloud could be a very good option to try. After maybe just 1 month, you will see how it's working, you will see the benefits, and all these results could be proven for you on your new business movement or ventures. Just less than a month, you will get proven, and you can decide whether to go with that the new movement or new business model right away, immediately. And for decision maker, And other benefits logi-Cloud will bring to you, you can say it's a cost saving, but we will say it's utilization, improve the utilization of your operation teams, not just the warehouse, but all the other departments related to inventory or to your warehouse. That's almost all the departments, right, in most companies. So it's like the logic is quite simple. Without a digitalized warehouse, probably people will spend like just half of the time and effort on the actual work, because they need to spend the rest of time and effort on the control and management to ensure everything is correct. And then they need to do the data entry, they need to manage the data, they need to spend time on communications to let other people, other teams know what is happening, right? But with logi-Cloud, all this control and data communication time could be squeezed to minimum. That means the time and effort for the employee will have more buffer to put on the real work. Think about the cost saving from that. Think about the utilization benefits from that. That will make the company be more capable and work faster with just the same amount of people, same amount of team, but more productive. And lastly, if you think, okay, it's maybe a good try, but what's the cost will be? Maybe you have a bad experience about adopting a software. In logi-Cloud, it's very simple and transparent. I would say it's OPEX. It's not a CAPEX. You are not buying some asset and expecting return of investment for in 3 years or 5 years. It's just OPEX. So, and it's adjustable. So all the pricing is transparent. All the component in the pricing is transparent. You will know what's the price of all the component in day one, but you can select what you need at that time, just what you need. So you can use a different combination of the subscription to match your scale or your need at the time. You can adjust that at any time, whether adjust up or adjust down, and you will know how much it will be. As simple as that. So that means your decision will have less risk. It's not a huge upfront investment. It's just OPEX. And you can foresee what will be what will be expanding in the coming times when you need additional things. Excuse me. So lastly, as so far, I hope you can see that logi-Cloud is quite flexible and it's scalable. So we use a Lego to explain that. Just a Lego. You can Lego up or Lego down to match what you need. There's no limitation on the geographic. There's no limitation on whether the warehouse is your internal warehouse or it's a partner warehouse. You can decide how many users you need to support the operation today and more operators tomorrow even. You can use the access right to separate the operation in different warehouses. You can expand in the solution to connect to your e-shops. You can expand in the solution with decent integrations at just half of the cost and lead time. And you can stop the subscription if unfortunately it's happened. You can stop the expenses right away when the business change. So this is flexibility and scalability logi-Cloud can provide to you. A quick summary. For retail and e-commerce or distribution companies, logi-Cloud can immediately bring these business benefits to you. You will have very accurate order delivery and fulfillment, so that your customers will be happier on that. Your collaboration with internal or external parties will be highly efficient. And because you can fulfill very fast, the data will be real time, the status will be updated immediately. That means your fulfillment can have a faster time to become your account receivable. And also because the warehouses work in a transparent way with all those best practices, you will have less inventory wastages. but your inventory cycle will be increased. And because the productivity gains and efficiency gained from the warehouse digitalization or from logi-Cloud, that means the warehouse cost will be lower, and it means at the end a higher margin from your sales. And also because we have friends from contract logistics, there will be particular other benefits for contract logistics. The first of all, this is particular for applicable to contract logistics, right? It's a contract. So your customers will use your warehouse service by contract terms, whether 2 years or 3 years. After that, nobody knows what will happen. So this makes it difficult to invest in a expensive software and expecting for a longer ROI period. But if logi-Cloud comes as an OPEX, that means it will match with your contract terms. When the contract is gone, you can just reduce the volume of subscription. And you know at day one what will be the cost. And the cost is consistent and transparent all along just 2 or 3 years. And the logi-Cloud can equip your warehouse to make them more capable for more different service standards or portfolio as well. It will lowering your service cost and prevent revenue leakage. Let me explain what's revenue leakage. For contract logistics, we charge the customer for what we have done, right? But if you use data entry, use paper, or use Excel to track what you have done in the warehouse, after a month, probably you will missing some actions which you have spent the time and effort on. And then you won't be able to charge the customers for that. That's a revenue leakage. But with your real-time WMS like logi-Cloud, all the actions will be recorded immediately without any data entry effort. But at the end of the month, you will have a fully comprehensive and complete record of what you have done. And that will be very, very good evidence to support your billing to customers. And because the logi-Cloud could be up and run in 5 days, so it's very easy for you to catch up business opportunities in time. And also, logi-Cloud has simplified the needs of IT. So that means you will have less IT limitations for you to advance your service portfolio. Yeah, that's the benefits particular for contract logistics. And here we come to the end for the webinar, especially episode 1. Yes, because I know it's very difficult to explain everything from high level to details in just one webinar. Thank you for your time for that. But please be expected for the coming 4 more series, 4 more episodes in the series. In the next, we'll talk about on how to do the e-commerce from the online checkout to the parcel ready in warehouse. How to do that just in 300 seconds, which is 5 minutes. And also we will explain about how to use the connectors in logi-Cloud to connect with your last mile service providers so that you have a digitalization in the full path of the fulfillment. And also we will explain why, even if you have ERP, why people still use WMS instead of just ERP. What's the benefit from that? And how logi-Cloud do that. Lastly, if your warehouse have a very successful business result, probably your order volume will be higher. Let's say if you are handling like 10,000 orders a day, barcode scanning may not be the right option already. So we have a more advanced option like the light sorting or even AGV solutions. AGV means the robotic, automated guided vehicles, but it's just robotic, simply put. So we have worked with other partners to enable these kind of solutions for higher volume warehouse as well. So logi-Cloud can start from a very small scale, but it could end up to a very, very big scale. So that's the end of today's today's episode. And because logi-Cloud is new to a Singapore market, so our marketing specially prepared an exclusive offer for Singapore companies. So the offer will be in a 12-month free package. That means that the logi-Cloud will be free for you for the first 12 months. And you can still have, that should be sufficient for you to try out if logi-Cloud can bring the benefit to your business and how far away your business could go with this support. So remember to do the registration and use the promotion code to get this special offer. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask us, call us, email us, or just go to our website, logi-Cloud.com, to check the information there, to subscribe our newsletter, to keep updated of what's new in logi-Cloud. And also, if you like to be more immediately, you just call us from WhatsApp or mobile phone. And then you can search in YouTube for some video clips. You can search in LinkedIn, Facebook to reach us as well. We welcome your inquiries. We can deliver your demonstration. We can have specialists to talk with you to see how logi-Cloud can fit into your operations. All these are free, so feel free to ask us if you have any question. So for this webinar, we have a few minutes left for some Q&A. See if there's any question raised from all the friends here.
All right, thank you so much, Arthur, for running the discussions. And I hope that our attendees have gained a lot of insights from what you have just discussed. Now we have received the questions, and I would like to thank all of you for sending them in. And if we don't get your questions today, we'll definitely follow up afterwards through an email. So now let's go on and take some of the questions that you have just sent us. Okay, for our first question. So, since the system is owned by your cloud server, what will happen next if we stop the subscription? So, I'll give the floor to Arthur.
Sure. Thank you, Marsha. Yeah, in logi-Cloud, it's a subscription based. That means you are paying for a monthly fee, right? But with the agreement, we guarantee that at your termination, if unfortunately you want to stop, you will get a 1 month free to access the database by yourself and export the Excel for all the data you can export, just as your daily work. That means during the time to time, you can export any data out of logi-Cloud to Excel file by your own. That's a daily work. And you still, even you terminate, we guarantee that you will have 1 month free access to get data out still. So if unfortunately you decide to terminate the subscription, it's just like that. We will have 1 month free for you. In some cases, if some companies do have some IT capabilities or resources, we can send the backup data to their own server, so the IT can have some data massage over there and put the data into their own system. That's not usual, but if you have IT resources, that's feasible. So we don't lock the data.
Thank you so much, Arthur. And I hope everything is clear now to our attendees. And for our second question, if users face any issues or problems, is there any daily support?
Yes, of course. The monthly subscription fee include the software, include all the backend monitoring things, and also the customer support. So there will be hotline, there will be email, there will be instant messengers to answer all the questions from technical issues if we see some system problems, or to operation issues. And there will be online knowledge portal available at any time, so you can find the answer out by yourself, or you can just ask the customer service team.
Okay, there you have it, folks. Rest assured that we always have your back. And for our next question, please share the successful accounting or ERP integration. Arthur?
Yep. Um, let me explain it. In general cases, we use the open API ready there so that other people can integrate with logi-Cloud, right? But if we talk about reference cases, we have integrated with several popular accounting software like Zero, and also another cloud ERP called NetSuite or Oracle NetSuite. We do have a reference case on that, and we have some pre-built foundations for that as well. And we have integration with SAP R3 as well. Yeah, but it's not 100% done by us. It still need the other party to work a little bit, but we have the open API ready for that purpose. So for example, if you want to integrate with an ERP, a decent ERP system, you want to integrate that with logi-Cloud, probably just take less than 1 month.
Okay, thank you so much, Arthur. And I think this is our last question. Is there any limitation on the quantity of warehouses set up and quantity of orders?
Okay. We don't have a limitation on that in logi-Cloud. I understand some software will set up this kind of limitation so that you need to pay more so that you can do more. But in logi-Cloud, we don't have a limitation on how much data you use, how much data you put in logi-Cloud. That means you can set up unlimited number of warehouses. You can set up unlimited SKU or unlimited store ownership within logi-Cloud as you like. Or the charge measurement, the charge factor in logi-Cloud is just number of users and modules. That's all.
All right, thank you so much, Arthur, for running that excellent Q&A session. This concludes today's live event, and please leave your contact so that we can answer your questions after this webinar. And if you'd like to reach us, our contact details are flashed on the screen. And don't forget to contact us via WhatsApp and avail a 12-month free subscription. Once again, this is Marsh. Hope to have you at our next webinar event. Thank you so much for joining us, and have a pleasant day ahead. Goodbye.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.